Hey, what's up guys? Benny here and welcome to my best settings in Call of Duty Warzone for Season 5. Over the past couple of months, I've learned a lot, and because of that, I'm always adjusting and changing my settings to make sure that everything is optimized so that I can perform the best that I possibly can. And because of that, I can then pass all that knowledge on to you and make sure that your setup is the best that you can possibly have before you go into a game to help increase your chances of winning and becoming a better Warzone player. It's something that a lot of people definitely underestimate, how big of an impact changing a couple of settings can be. And there's one you'll see later on in the video that was a big surprise to me and probably the biggest change that I've made to my settings for Season 5. We're also getting so close to 400,000 subscribers, with 73.7% of you watching this video not subscribed. So subscribe and get us closer to 400k and you'll become a better Warzone player, I promise. First of all, let's talk audio. It's one of the most important parts of Warzone if you want to play well. To be able to clearly hear audio cues from enemy footsteps, glass being shattered, or the direction of enemy gunfire. So one of the things that you definitely want to be doing if you're not already is make sure that you wear a headset. It's going to allow you to be able to pinpoint those sounds so much earlier so you can react and make sure that you're in a position to get the kill. I've also got some super exciting news, which you may have seen over on Twitter at Benny Central or my streams, but I've partnered up with Turtle Beach and Rockcat on the channel, so thank you for help making that happen. As you'll have probably seen, I've used my Turtle Beach Elite Pro 2s every day for like the past couple of years, so I'm super excited to be partnering up with them. If you need a headset or any gaming gear, make sure to check out the links down in the description for Turtle Beach and Rockcat. There's loads of great headsets at different price points, and I've also recently done a giveaway on Twitter giving away my gaming setup, so make sure you go over there and follow me as I'll be doing more of those in the future. I'm just excited that I've got the chance to keep giving back to you guys with the support that you've given the channel, thanks to my awesome partners Turtle Beach and Rockcat. Now, for your settings themselves, I recently did a whole ton of audio tests to find out which settings make footsteps the loudest compared to the rest of the sound mix. And I've discovered it's not boost high, which is what I was using before, but instead home theater is the best audio mix to use, helping to separate footsteps from the rest of the sound mix the best. Boost low is then the second best option, though for me personally, the game then doesn't sound that great, so I'd definitely recommend using home theater instead. Then for the rest of your audio settings, master volume at 100, then you want to turn music off completely. It can be nice to have, but it's not needed if you're going for pure performance. I then have dialogue at 25 and then the effect volume at 100. Juggernaut music is then disabled, and then hit marker sound effects I have as MW. Next, I want you to head over to your general settings. Now, as you'll probably know, field of view is only available to PC players, and for a long time it's been thought to be an unfair advantage to console players. However, with Season 5, my opinion has completely changed, and this is fundamentally one of the most important settings, and you want to be aware about it whether you play on console or PC. Until recently, I'd been playing on 105 field of view whilst using a controller, but found out this drastically affects my aim assist compared to a console player. It's quite simply not as strong, so it's going to be harder for you to land your shots. But I've now lowered it down to 90, and I've noticed a big difference in my gameplay as I now get similar aim assist performance as console, and I've gone from dropping like 10 to 12 kills in a mini royale to 17 to 20 on a more consistent basis. Yes, it is that big of a difference. It also explains how console players are still able to dominate on the competitive side with far less frames and a small field of view compared to some PC players. So if you're on PC using a controller, drop your field of view down. If you're on console, don't worry, you're not at a big disadvantage. The next setting I change is I turn my colorblind type to protanopia and then target the interface only. This allows me to be able to clearly see enemy targets on my minimap compared to the red, which I personally struggle to see sometimes due to my colorblindness. I don't apply it to everything, just my interface, because I make YouTube videos and I don't want to make the game look weird to you guys. Next, if you're not already, please make sure you've got your minimap shape to square. You get a lot more minimap coverage, which is going to help make you make better decisions in game. And then I have compass cardinal direction text set to letters. Okay, next, I want us to talk about controller settings. These can be used by anyone, whether you're playing on console or PC with a controller. The first choice you need to decide is your BR button layout. And during the previous season, they added a new layout which you should 100% be using within Warzone if you don't own a Scuff or Elite controller. That has paddles on the back, and that is Bumper Ping Tactical. This gives you the benefits of the tactical button layout, which allows you to drop shot and slide cancel without having to take your thumb off your thumbstick, but also the ability to ping with your left bumper or L1, which is huge in Warzone. It'll help not only yourself, but your entire team when you get off a live ping quickly on an enemy player. Now, if you use an Xbox Elite controller like I do and have paddles on the back, you can use the default tactical button layout. Just make sure you've got a paddle mapped to ping on the back, one of the most valuable things that you can do in the game. Then you'll want to leave your stick layout preset as default and invert vertical look as disabled. But if you're someone that uses inverted, please make yourself known in the comments because there's not very many of you and you scare me. The next important setting is your controller dead zone. Now, what this does is the lower your dead zone, the more reactive your thumbsticks will be. Though if your controller has slight thumbstick drift, this could lead to unintentional movement, which could cost you by throwing off your aim in a gunfight. So what I've done is lower mine to 0.1, so they're more reactive than the default setting, but not too low that there's a chance for me to get that stick drift that I have no control over. Now, because of me changing my field of view to get a stronger level of aim assist, I've actually had a little tweak to my stick sensitivity. I use a 6 on horizontal and vertical still, and something I'd advise to everyone is start your sensitivity low and build up to find what works best for you. But a 6 on a controller is a pretty solid all-round sensitivity that's easy to control. But a big change I've made in Season 5 is actually not changing my ADS sensitivity multiplier at all, and leaving them both at a 1 with that stronger aim assist. I don't need to worry about overcompensating my aim, as it's a lot easier to stick onto a target with my default sensitivity, so I don't need to slow it down at all. Then for your aim response curve type, you'll want standard, and then you'll want to turn your controller vibration off. Vibration is just something you don't need unless you're playing the campaign and want to feel that full immersion. In a competitive situation, it can throw you off. Next, you'll want to have aim assist as standard, and if you're on PC, you'll want scale aim assist with field of view as enabled. Even with dropping our field of view on PC, your default field of view is still higher than a console, so it's important to scale. Then these 4 settings are default, but something you need to make sure you change is that your use/reload behavior is set to contextual tap. It instantly makes you be able to do things so much faster, from navigating around the map to looting, and with players getting more experience in Season 5, speed is key. The next controller setting you're going to want to make sure you change is that your slide behavior is set to tap. This will allow you to slide cancel, which will help you move around the map faster by resetting your tactical sprint, but also it makes you a harder target to hit because of how hitboxes work. So if you have this set to hold, you're almost just giving yourself a delay in being able to take an action that you want in the game. So make sure you have it set to tap. Then you also want to make sure you've got auto move forward, automatic sprint, and vehicle camera recenter as disabled. Then the final setting you want to make sure you've got disabled is parachute auto deploy. This will allow you to reach the ground faster than someone with it enabled, helping you beat them to a weapon, and it's just going to make you a harder target to hit, as people floating down on their parachutes nice and slowly are pretty easy to kill, especially in redeploy modes. Next up, we need to head over to the graphics tab. This section isn't as important if you play on console, but it's still important to be aware of. Now, these are some important settings that everyone, no matter what you're playing on, you're going to want to make sure you set up correctly. You want to make sure that you've got depth of field disabled, then filmic strength also set to 0. Then you'll want world motion blur and weapon motion blur disabled. Then finally, you want to make sure you've also got film grain set to 0. This setup will help you never miss any important details and perform the best that you can. Next, if you're on PC, always make sure that you're playing in full screen mode. It just means that you don't get any input lag or reduced frames. Then you also want to make sure that you're playing on the highest refresh rate that your monitor and computer will allow, because if you're getting 240 frames per second compared to the 60 that you get on console, which is soon about to change, however, with the launch of the next-gen consoles, where they'll most likely run at 120 FPS, which is going to be insane. I also play in 1080p because I'm purely going for performance compared to 1440p and 4K, which I just don't need. Then you want to have aspect ratio set to automatic, VSync needs to be disabled, then I've also got custom frame rate limits on 240 for gameplay, menus to 48, and then out of focus to 30. This will vary depending on your PC. Next, you'll want to go to details and textures. Now, I recommend having lower settings to get more frames and less detail, so it's easier to spot enemies. I set texture resolution to normal, then texture filter anisotropic to low, along with particle quality as low. I then have bullet impacts and sprays enabled and tessellation disabled. Next, you'll want shadow map resolution as low and make sure that you cache spot shadows and sun shadows. Then have particle lighting as low, DirectX, ambient and screen space reflection all disabled. Then, as I've mentioned in the past, I'm recording YouTube videos, so I have anti-aliasing set to Filmic SMAA T2X. Now, this could be turned off if you're going for pure gameplay performance, as all it does is make your game look better and smoother. But there's all the key settings that you need to know about for Season 5 for Call of Duty Warzone, and once again, a big thank you to my brand new channel partners, Rocket and Turtle Beach. Make sure to go check out their stuff down in the description, and go and follow me on Twitter so you don't miss out on future giveaways. I'm going to have a lot more in the future, including some COD points. Let me know what you think in the comments and smash that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye!